Hey, Charlie here, and welcome to day number 1 of the 5-day challenge, Guitar Solo Like the Legends. Now, we are going to be breaking down over the next 5 days an entire guitar solo inspired by Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. So this guitar solo links up over the entire fretboard, and we've got a professionally recorded backing track to be playing this along to. Now, as we go through this first day, I want to make sure that you know that below you have a full guitar tab which shows exactly what we are going through, okay? So not only do you get the guitar tab, but you also get the track, okay, that has the guitar solo on it. So you get to listen to the entire guitar solo, and you can also check out the 2 other versions of the guitar solo as well. So we have a 0.75 times speed, which is like 3/4 times the speed, and we also have half the speed. So you can listen to the guitar solo instead of at full speed at half the speed, which means that you can really hear what's going on. It means that you can practice along to a slower version of the track. Now this is really going to help you get your timing down and just really make sure you have those parts nailed. So if you are not sure on how to read guitar tab, then you'll also find a link below that explains exactly how to do it, and I'll make sure that is in the tab itself as well. So if you're not quite sure, you want to make sure you head over and just watch a very quick video explains how to read it. It's super easy. You'll also see the musical notation above the tab. Don't worry about that if you don't know about it. It's absolutely fine. You can just look at the lines, look at the tab. Now, let's dive right in. I want you to make sure you have your guitar, make sure it is all tuned up, and we're gonna have a lot of fun, all right? So let's jump in to day number 1. Now the first part of the solo is inspired by the late great Stevie Ray Vaughan. Now we're going to be mixing a little bit of major and minor together here. So I want you to put your middle finger here on the 7th fret of the B string, and your 3rd finger here on the 8th fret of the high E string. So if we play those together, we've got that. Now that sounds kind of weird, okay? It doesn't sound good like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna slightly bend it. Okay, so this is what we're going for. Might sound weird now, but you'll hear it put to the backing track, and it sounds really cool. So you notice that I'm not just playing those, we're putting a little bit of a bend, but we're not doing a half bend or a full bend like that. We're just little tiny bend, okay? Now this quite often gets called a blues bend. So first of all, don't worry about what I'm doing here, just these 2 notes here. Get used to this. And then you're gonna put your 1st finger here on the 5th fret, and you're gonna play that twice. And put a bit of vibrato on that. So we put that together. All right, now after we've played that once, okay, we're gonna do this thing that Stevie Ray Vaughan used to do quite a lot, and it just adds a bit of what I like to say, hot sauce to the solo. So we're gonna be playing that, and then we'll do this. Okay, so we're not necessarily aiming for anywhere specifically, but if we were aiming for somewhere specific, we'd go to the 17th fret. But it's okay if you get around it or below it, above it. It's just about sort of the motion more than anything. And just trying to put yourself into Stevie Ray Vaughan's shoes for at least that moment, okay? All right? Now, you'll notice how when I go up, if I did this in slow motion, now, you can't really do it in slow motion because you don't get the same kind of sound. But I kind of put my finger like this, and I kind of straighten it up a little bit. So I'm not like this, and then like keeping my finger rigid. It's kind of like, almost. Not quite, but almost like that. Okay, so we're playing that twice. Bit of vibrato. And up and down like that. Now, if you're wondering about that vibrato, if you've never done it, then it's okay to be doing it without the vibrato for now. But if you do want to try, since we're on the high E string, we kind of just push a tiny little bit. It's kind of like a little tiny bend and back. Little tiny bend and back. Just imagine twisting a doorknob. Okay, so we start out here. And then, okay, pretty easy. Might feel weird, but if you just keep practicing that, it will become easy no matter what level you're currently at. Now we're gonna do that again, okay? But without the slidey thing at the end. So this is what we have so far. Now, I'm going to play it in slow motion, and I want you to play along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now, take a break right now. Feel free to pause this video and make sure you have that part locked down. Now, this next part here, we're just going to be moving up the notes here. Just like this. Now, for you guys that are familiar, if you've ever seen a guitar player play that little box shape right there, you know what we're doing. If not, don't worry, you don't need to know. For now, at least anyway, okay? So after we've done this the second time, we're gonna use our third finger over here. Okay, now, you might wanna use your pinky, but I'm gonna say not to because of the reason we get to very, very soon. Use your third finger and play this on the 8th fret of the B string. And then your first finger on the 5th fret of the B string. So 8 and 5. Now, you're gonna play 8 on the G as well. So 8, 5, 8. Now, when you get to this 8, what you're gonna do is slide down to the 7. So, and then we're gonna pull off this finger to this finger, okay? So we're pulling off from the 7th fret to the 5th fret. So we pick once on the 8th, on the G, and then we slide, and then we pull off, and we never play again with the pick. Well, not never, but not for that string anyway. Okay, so we had this here, just 8, 5, super easy, then 8, slide down to 7, pull off to 5. So far we have this. All right. And then put your third finger here on the 7th fret of the D string and play that twice. And you put a bit of vibrato on that too. All right, so we had this. Now I said to use your third finger here because we want to use it here and slide it back, okay? In case you're wondering. So pause the video right now, make sure you have that part locked down. Remember that you have the guitar tab below. Go and review that, make sure you got all those notes exactly right, maybe even rewatch over the little bit we just did, and you can practice to the slowed down versions of those tracks as well, just to make sure you have those parts nailed. Now, the next part is going to be just a lot of repeating notes, so you'll probably get it very quickly. Okay, so I want to make sure you have all that stuff locked in before we move on. Now, continuing on with our Stevie Ray Vaughan theme, we're going to do some double stops to wrap up day number 1. So what I want you to do is to grab your third finger here on the 3rd fret of the B string. Now, we're actually not going to really play the 3rd fret. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to slide it up into the 5th fret like this. All right, so we play it here, okay? We play the 3 and the high E string. So you want to make sure that this finger is propped up enough to let the high E string ring out underneath it. We're sliding up into the 5th fret. And that counts as number 1, and we play it 5 times, and then we're going to do a light karate chop, like this with our right hand, to stop the strings ringing out. Like that, okay? So that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now remember that you do have the track below. You can go over to help you get that timing, because we have just a slight pause. We're not necessarily starting on the 1. We're starting, if you're into music theory and music rhythm, we're starting on the and. So 1 and. So we go 1, 1. Okay, so 5. And we wait. And then the next one is here. So our 3rd finger here on the 8th fret of the B string and middle finger on the 7th fret of the high E string. So we don't go there and just straight play that, because we want to have it sound a little more bluesy. We're going to slide into it. Now, we don't necessarily have to have a starting point. So you don't have to be right here. See how it kind of sounds weird? I don't want to hear that. So as I go to pluck the strings, I'm already kind of moving into it. And it can even be as little as 1 fret. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Okay, it's just to get that little jump in there. Okay, so 5 are there. Easy as that. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without hitting the bung note like I just did. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause the video. Make sure you have that part locked down before moving on. All right. So for the next 2 double stops that we're playing, we're going to add in an extra string. Okay, so we're going to be playing on the G, B, and high E strings, and we're going to be playing 8 this time. Okay, and we are going to be starting on the 1 this time. So we're going to be going like this. Okay, so the same way that we slid in down here on the 8th and the 7th frets, we're now playing on the 9th and 8th frets with our fingers here. 3rd finger on the 9th fret of the G, and your middle finger here on the 8th fret of the B string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So those 3 double stops we've got so far together go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, now we're going to keep this same shape and we're going to slide it up to here. So this finger here is going to land on the 14th fret, and this finger here is going to land on the 13th fret on the same strings. And we're playing 8 there again, okay? With one small difference. It's actually only 7. But the last note, we're going to be playing with our middle finger on the 13th fret. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now you'll see why in day number 2. All right, but for now, you just want to practice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just playing that one note, that middle finger on the 13th fret. Okay, so these last two together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we don't actually have a gap in between them, so then put together, played at full speed. Okay, and we got that one note there because we're going to be doing a bend, but wait till tomorrow because day number 2 is when we're going to be doing that. All right, so those 4 double stops together. Okay, and that's it. I want you to pause the video and practice those double stops separately. And once you've got that, then put it together with the whole thing. And that is all for day number 1. Remember, below this video, you have the guitar tab, you have your complete reference material for what we covered here in day number 1, as well as the full guitar solo at full speed, at 3/4 speed, and at half speed. So practice along to that solo to try and get the timing right. Now, if you're more of a beginner player and you have trouble getting the timing, that's absolutely fine. Just try your best and you'll be very, very surprised at how quickly you start catching on, all right? So practice this. Make sure you have this whole part completely locked in because day number 2 is going to be one of the toughest. Okay, so make sure you come completely fully prepared with the guitar all tuned up, good to go, because day number 2, as I mentioned, pretty tough, and I want to make sure that you stay on track to be playing this whole guitar solo by day number 5. Congratulations for making it through day number 1 of the 5-day challenge, Guitar Solo Like the Legends. This one was mainly focused around Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I really look forward to seeing you very soon for day number 2. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to be practicing what we've covered here in day number 1, and then I want you to head over as soon as you can within the next 30 minutes into the private Facebook community, because we're going to be putting out spot prizes and giving away some really cool stuff to those who are the most engaged. All you need to do is post a video of your progress. It doesn't matter what level you are, if you're a complete beginner just giving this stuff a try, or you're an advanced guitar player and already got this completely nailed. Whatever it is, go into our private Facebook community. You'll find a button below, a link below. Click on that, head straight over, just record something on your phone, doesn't have to be fancy. Post your progress up into the community. Not only is it going to motivate you to be really pushing through to the end of this challenge, but you're also going to be inspiring others at the same time. And remember, you may win a prize in the process. So make sure you grab your camera, your phone as soon as possible, record yourself playing guitar, go post your progress, and I'll see you for day 2.